My name is Jay Bridgeball. I'm a real estate broker since 1988. I've seen the good days, the bad days, and the not so bad days. My passion is to educate consumer about all aspects in real estate. Actually, I sold over $1.75 billion in real estate. Now, that's a lot of experience. I went through many failures, many successes, and I've seen many stories that you will be amazed. Not everything looks so glamorous as it is sometimes. On Let's Talk Real Estate, we will dig deep down and I will take you step by step through every process, from buying your first home to buying a multi-million-dollar investment property. We will have various people on this show. Lawyers, investors, we'll have mortgage brokers, appraisals, and everyone else to assist us to take you to that point. My aim is to break it down in such easy terms that you will be able to follow. So please join me every Thursday between 1 and 2, and let's talk real estate.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate. I'm here today with a co-worker of ours here at the Bridge team, and that's Sheldon.
Hey, AMIT, thanks for allowing me to come out today.
No problem. So Sheldon Douglas, he works with us at the office, and feel free to look more at me. No, so yeah, basically, so Sheldon, realistically, you're a fairly new agent with us, only about 2 years. Yeah. So I wanted to bring you on here and let you experience how things go with the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
Can turn it down, huh? Yeah. All right, great stuff. So what we're going to be focusing on today in this particular episode is basically all the questions that have been piling up that viewers have actually been asking us. So we usually answer them right away on either text or on Facebook or WhatsApp, whatever that is. Yeah. But there's a few things that have been very key and reoccurring. So this is kind of the question and answer episode of Let's Talk Real Estate, and that's why I wanted to bring you in on here. So before we jump into that, can you give me a little bit more, like maybe a bit of background on you and what inspired you to kind of do this job?
Okay. Well, I'm from a Jamaican background. I lived in Canada my whole life. Very influenced by the Caribbean community, obviously, right, because of my background and my past. I've been in real estate for almost 2 years. What made me decide to get into real estate? It was actually something I wanted to do since like high school, right?
Oh, okay. So something you've always been thinking about. So is it that like you were just fascinated with like what the idea was, or what is it? They really
I don't want to sound like a nerd, but I'd read like real estate books for dummies and things of that sort. So it was more so trying to get into investing into real estate at first. But
so you kind of saw like that was an opportunity of a way to grow, and maybe I guess not owning real estate is maybe a way that you don't have to always be working for your money. Your money can kind of be sleeping when you can be sleeping when your money's working.
Exactly. That's definitely the plan, right? But it just led me to get into a career in real estate and changed my life ever since.
Okay, well that's good stuff. So tell me though, on the grand scheme of things, why should someone work with Sheldon Douglas from the Bridge team?
Well, if you want somebody who operates with integrity, trust, care. That has a great team behind him.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to turn that down, right?
Definitely not. Okay, good stuff. So one of the first things that we really want to dive straight into now is something that literally comes up after every maybe 3 shows. People want to know, what can X amount of dollars get me in this particular city or suburb? And as you know, being in the business, the pricing just varies wildly. So things like what have you sold, I guess, recently in the last little while? Anything that you sold, like condo or a townhouse or something like that recent?
Yeah. Recently I actually sold a home in Orangeville in the January month. We sold it for about $550.
Yeah.
Right, which is typically lower compared to other regions. If you want to compare.
Was that a detached 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, 3-bedroom?
Yeah, comparable to Brampton, Mississauga.
Really?
You're definitely not gonna find anything in that price.
Wow.
range.
So what kind of square footage was that?
It was about 15 15 square feet.
Yeah, 1,500. Yeah.
It featured a swimming pool. Right.
Oh wow.
The amenities were near the not Sheridan, sorry, but Humber College.
Okay.
And right off the 410. Right. So it was good in terms of prime location.
Yeah. Oh, so this one we're talking about is the not the Orangeville one.
Yes, the Orangeville.
Oh, okay, okay.
There's another location in Orangeville.
Oh, okay, I got you. Oh, okay, I didn't even know that there was another another location there.
Yeah, man. But if you were to find that home in Brampton, you'd probably pay at least $700,000.
Okay, so 750 plus. Okay, so now that we're kind of on the topic for 4-bedroom detached with a good piece of lot size, let's say Brampton, we're probably looking in the 750 range. Mississauga, I would say maybe 850 plus. What are your thoughts for, I guess, a little bit more on the east end? I know we've been working a little bit in Scarborough, and Scarborough is kind of like the difference between bungalows versus detached, because even the bungalows are going up into the sevens these days.
Yeah. Typically in the Scarborough area, I find that it's actually more expensive.
Toronto.
Yeah, in the Toronto area. But however, the sales volume is not as high as if you were to find in Mississauga, Brampton, right?
Right.
Homes tend to stay on the market a little bit longer over there.
Right.
And then just right beside of it is Ajax, Pickering, Whitby,
A lot of people have been migrating out there. In recent years, like the number of homes that we sell out in like that area of the east, like Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, has been doubling and tripling. And it's really a lot of people that are moving from either the core area of Toronto or the central area of Scarborough and going a little bit east. One thing I really like about that is you have the transit lines that are running both ways, which is really important.
I actually sold a home out there about in the May month of 2017. We got it for about $530. If you were to look at that home now, I've probably gone up at least $50,000 in value.
Wow. Yeah, because in that same period of time, a few months after, we did a 4-bedroom. I personally got a 4-bedroom for a client of ours, and it was just at about $680 or so. So depending on the location, if it's south or the north side, they're definitely they're pretty costly. Well, on that, closing off on that particular like type of home, so condos. Condos are something that also wildly vary. So you're looking at, some condos in, Square One area for a 2-bedroom, 2-washroom, going to be 450, 460,000, depending on, which type you're looking for and the age of the building, also the maintenance fees and how well the management company is. But, in Malton, for example, what are we looking at for like a 2-bedroom condo?
Well, the prices in Malton, even Malton is in Mississauga, right? But however, the price point is lower in that end of the
and the Rexdale is fairly close by too as well. You got the Gorway area.
But it's actually pretty weird because if you were to cross over the bridge, condo maybe in the Humberwood area, if any of the viewers are watching know about that area, condos are going from a 1-bedroom for $350 to a 3-bedroom for in the $400,000.
Yeah, right? On that exact same note, we're listing one today, actually later today, 2-bedroom, 2-washroom, and it's going up for about $430.
But like just to go back to what we were talking about in terms of Malton, right? If you were to look at the price ranges in Malton for a 1-bedroom, you can get a 1-bedroom for about $260.
Really?
Yeah, in the right location in Malton.
So the thing is that's really important, that people need to understand that a lot of people think that this market has outpriced them, but there still are affordable properties out there.
Yeah, it all depends on the pocket you're looking at, right? Location is obviously the number one point in real estate, right?
Yeah.
Wherever you look at, you got to really determine the price value, number one, of what's going on in that area. In terms of with condos, the maintenance fees as well. Right.
Well, that's actually a really important point. So what I want to do is just regarding time, I want to stick a pin in that for a moment, and then what we'll do is we'll just jump back into this topic right after the break.
Okay.
Actually stood for catching every opportunity. This week alone, I've seen 3 businesses that shut their doors in this community.
investing in yourself. Like, you have to know what your brand is first. So there's no other way that you're going to build a brand unless you network. You have to eventually get out there.
And it stems down to a lot of times not having the right knowledge, the right know-how.
Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Talk Real Estate, and with myself, your host, AMIT Kanhai. Jay Bridgepal is off on a little hiatus, and we've got Sheldon Douglas here from the Bridge team. So we're just continuing the same topic with what will X amount of dollars get you in which part of the city, because that's one of these main things that people are always asking. They always, right after they watch a show, hey, can you guys cover this? And it's something that we've really shied away from in the past, just because of the fact that everything changes. Not even every month, but every day. So the market is, completely different day by day and week by week. So Sheldon, you were talking a little bit about what you can get and kind of the bang for the buck in Malton and Rexdale versus other areas.
Yeah, if we're touching back on that topic, in terms of Malton, you can find a 1-bedroom condominium for about $260. I would say if you're going up to 3-bedroom. Let's say about $320, $350.
Really, that's good stuff. Yeah, and when you think about the affordability scale, now this is huge compared to what you can get a 3-bedroom for elsewhere. And one thing that's really important too that people need to really understand is. You need to always focus on just getting yourself into the market. And then after you get yourself into the market, regardless of the area, regardless of the location, because everything is relatively safe, you know what I mean? We're not living in a third world country. So once you get yourself in, you're going to benefit from the rising prices, right?
Also, like, being in touch with reality, sometimes our eyes are glued to the mansions, or the things that we cannot technically on paper afford, right? That's very important, just to focus on something that, just like what Amit was saying, get yourself in the market and then take it from there, right? You know, financial growth doesn't just take
it doesn't happen overnight, and that's really what I like. The main focus with the Bridge team specifically is more about how both of us and the entire team, we always focus on educating the clients first. And I guess that's even a good time to do a little insert. We're gonna have our forum workshop, and that's on the 3rd of March. And that's between 1 to 3. So we'd really appreciate it if you guys were to log onto the website and just kind of attend. It's a really informational session, and that's what I like about it most. You come in there and you learn. Everyone can share their own experiences. And that's at 96 Rexdale Boulevard. So
don't feel free to stop by, educate yourself, learn a lot about just the Bridge team and just what's going on in the market, right? How to be a smart investor,
Of course. Yeah, it's good stuff. We don't give it all away now. All right, so now on the same topic here. Now, so for condominium townhouses or just freehold townhouses. So realistically, this is a market that's a segment of the market that has really increased over the last year and a half, 2 years. And really what the main driving force between it was that detached prices are getting so out of range for many consumers that people are stepping into the condo townhouses or the freehold townhouses, which are still really good options. You're getting 1,500, 1,400, all the way up to 2,000 square feet. That's a lot of livable square footage. Just most recently, I've sold a couple in Brampton, in the Mount Pleasant area, in about the 605 range. And so they're fairly reasonable pricing. That same type of property is going to be 7 something in Mississauga, and those are the freehold versions. When you're going to the maintenance fee versions, obviously you're going to be a little bit lower. There's a few of those in Brampton that on Townhouse Row and a few different areas that are in the 450s and 500s. One thing that I've really found with the market in that particular price range under 550, things are really selling quickly. I know you've had a little experience in that.
You know, it's so funny that we're talking about this topic. Last Friday, I was actually in a bidding war.
And you know, realistically, everyone thinks, well, I thought bidding wars were gone. So tell us a little bit about it.
No, not at all. We went to go see the property on Friday, me and my clients, and they really fell in love with it. It was fully renovated, everything they needed, all the essentials.
Right. And
we decided, okay, we're gonna put an offer in, right? So I'm writing this offer, and then I give the agent a call. I let him know, like, hey, we're looking to put an offer in. Has there any offers, offers recently? Interest. And he was like, no, not yet.
How many days was it on market at that time?
It was literally only 2 days on the market.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So then we decided to go through with the offer. I get a call back from the agent. He's like, hey, Shell, you know what? Out of nowhere, we're expecting another offer. So I was like, oh, okay. Let me know how it goes. You know, with our vocables until later that night anyways, right? I started getting emails and emails after emails. I'm like, wow. So now it's become a bidding war, right? And
so I guess they notified you by email that more offers were coming in.
Yeah. And then from there, we kind of had to just, go with the flow in terms of
your best price.
Best price. Now you have to really come aggressive, right? If this is the
in that particular price range,
right? So we ended up losing. It's okay. You're gonna have those moments where you may not get the property that you want at that moment in time, but it will happen eventually. Yeah. Right. So
I guess what you're really trying to say, the main takeaway from that is just the pricing, or condo townhouse pricing, like under the 450 range or under the 600 range, is very, very aggressive right now. It's still very, very alive.
Yeah. I'll tell anybody, anytime you're looking at a property, make sure you are aware that at any moment in time that this property may not be on the market anymore. Right. So,
because you never know. You book your showing and you're heading there with your realtor, and you think maybe you have 1 day, 2 day, 3 days to make a decision, and sometimes it could just be gone just like that. So I guess it's good that you have the experience with you to say, hey, you call the agent, you ask them, hey, I'm pretty sure I want to put an offer. Let them know in advance, because if you don't, it could be gone. And on that same note, what I've realized is, why you got those emails back to back to back so many times was realistically because as soon as you said you're going to put an offer in on that property, it's not the universe that's saying it. The agent is going back to all the other guys that did their showing, and they're saying, hey, this guy's going to put an offer. Then all these individual people, they call their client, and then they say, all right, 1 out of 5 might put an offer, but that's still going to result in 4 or 5 more pieces of competition that you didn't have in the first place.
At the end of the day, you got to do what's best for your clients. So, it's definitely understandable, right? But that's why you got to spread awareness with your clients.
Right.
Let them understand this is, serious, and we got to...
Well, sometimes, you sometimes when you're looking, you've got to lose a few. Then you get a little bit more serious. I think it really happens with any of us. Realistically, you get into a situation where you think you have all the control, but then you realize there's other things in play, like the market and how many people are interested in a particular home. If you're interested in it, chances are someone else is going to be interested in it. Have you? And now, so then we can shift a little bit out of the West area, and Toronto itself is it's always extremely high in price. But when we're looking at relocating people, we also look at Scarborough, Ajax, and Pickering. Oshawa has come up a lot in recent years, but you're still able to find some of these properties in the 450 to 500 range, which is pretty reasonable when you're thinking 1,500 square feet. One thing I really like about that East End corridor is the transit system is just phenomenal. You're able to get in and out of the city very, very easily.
Exactly. Yeah, especially with the GO transit running, frequently, it's definitely a great thing for out in the East End.
Have you done any major any rentals or any townhouse purchases out in the East recently?
Not recently in the East. I would say last place I was focused was more out north in the Barrie area.
Okay.
So
hey, you've had some good experience in that, and I guess even though we're supposed to be saying GTA, realistically, people want to know where the best deals are, like Orangeville and Barrie. What's your experience out in Barrie?
Barely prices are fairly lower. Think about it, you could find a detached that was built maybe 2 years ago in the 600,000 range.
Really?
Compared to
3-bedroom or 4-bedroom?
This is a 4-bedroom. Yeah.
Wow, so that's a
Yeah.
pretty big property when you're thinking, 2,000 square feet.
Yeah, at least 2,500 square feet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you're getting an influx of people that that are asking to just kind of get out of the city. Is it people that are working working from home people, or is it people that are trying to commute? Because I know there's been a lot of talks in recent months or years about that whole trend of, if you're stay at home working or you work at home 3 days a week, you only have to commute those 2 days. Many of those people may say, I'll go to Orangeville, I'll go to Shelburne, or I'll go to Barrie.
Which you're absolutely correct, right? It's just wanting to relocate, getting the best buck for the, value.
Bang for the buck, okay.
So, that's typically what's going on in those areas. But in out east, the market is a little bit slower out there as well. Well, right now, with what's going on in terms of sales value, everything's a little bit slower. But however, it's kind of weird because there's still bidding wars going on.
Yeah, there's still bidding wars in the in this one market segment right underneath it, and then on top of it, you're kind of negotiating down. So it's it's interesting to really see how all these market factors are working together. But on that note, what we'll do is we'll just ask our viewers to stay tuned, because next on the next segment, we're going to be looking into a little bit about how to prepare for your mortgage application. A lot of people ask the same question. We always cover it, but it's something everyone wants to know. So stay tuned, and we'll jump back in just a few moments.
Great, and how's your experience been so far?
I'm loving it because
this is my first year here, and I was so excited.
I've had so many people come, so much traffic. I'm absolutely tired.
Because of all the exposure that I got from this great event, I was able to grow and evolve and create my very own label.
It's been a fantastic event.
This is my second year.
This is a great and awesome event connecting to the community.
So yeah, we urge you to join. Here's a great turnout.
So for those of you who are not here this year and have business, make sure that you're here next year, because it's only going to get better every year.
So I will be back next year. So thank you. Business Social, it's awesome.
So people who aren't here, what would you tell them?
You're missing out. Come out and have some fun.
Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Talk Real Estate. And I'm your host, AMIT, and today we have a guest host, Sheldon Douglas, also from the Bridge team. So just want to welcome you again, Sheldon. Thanks for coming out. No problem. So basically, this is really a nitty-gritty topic that we're going to jump into on this segment. It's what to do when applying for your mortgage, or what things to look out for. And as strange as it is, this is something that we bring up probably every third episode, and it's specifically something that people always ask about. So I know you may have some stories or some commentary on that. We were talking just over the break, but one thing that I've always maintained is when you're making that application or going for the application, there's certain things you don't want to apply for. You don't want to just apply for 5 different credit cards month after month after month. Yeah, because those things like that are actually going to negatively be viewed from the lender. The lender is going to say, well, why did you apply for this and then that and then that 1 month after the next if you don't really need it? So these are things that people don't really think of. But sometimes when you're doing a little bit better financially, you just think, hey, I want to do some, I want to apply for credit. I want to get more credit.
Credit's definitely one of the most important things in terms of a mortgage application. If you don't have good credit, it's going to be extremely hard for you to purchase a home. So I tell everybody, make sure your credit score is good. Yeah, you don't.
And even anything over 650, right? It's not. It doesn't have to be stellar. You know, and there's a kind of a general range between 650 and maybe 725 or so. That probably the majority of people are actually sitting in. Yeah. So it's not that, you know, you have to have this 800 or 900 credit score, which is almost impossible in these days and age, right? Because a lot of times what they say is, you know, if you don't have enough credit, your credit score isn't high enough. If you have too much credit, your credit score isn't high enough. So it's kind of a catch-22, and someone you know, it makes sense to talk to your banker about that sort of stuff. One thing that we were talking about on the break too is the applying for a car.
Oh. Please, whatever you do, if you're deciding to buy a home, just put the car on the back burner for a bit. Get the mortgage first, and then you can worry about getting your new car, you know, after you get your new home.
And the thing is that, you know, it's something that I always discuss with people, and I realize that it's been so many times that I've seen it happen that I've noticed that when you get that good feeling that you're getting more and more financially stable, and you've got your newer job, and you've been working for 3 or 4 months, you're ready to go do that mortgage application, but you think, let me get the car, then let me get the house, and it's something that's in your own mind. But what happens is it's very detrimental to the application, because we were actually talking with Dennis about it last week, about the fact that the car payments are so much larger than, you know, a mortgage payment for that same dollar amount.
Yeah, you're lowering the buying power, right?
Yeah.
So I would definitely just wait till after. I ran into a situation that was like that. Have clients that both for financing, but we went to go get a mortgage for them. It definitely lowered their buying power for about $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So they have to pay off at least one car to be able to, you know.
So what you're saying is the mortgage broker made it a stipulation that they had to actually pay off for the car before they could even get the property.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking about a car, that's only, you know, say $20,000 or 15 or 10,000, whatever the dollar amount is. When you're saying that's actually subtracting their purchasing power by $100,000.
Exactly. Well, you know, they can keep the car, but then they don't have much buying power at that point, right?
Right, so, because you're spending that much more on the loan for the car.
Yeah, especially if you have it, why would you want to pay that interest on it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so, if you already own it, because typically you're gonna have a lower interest rate on your mortgage purchase or something like that.
Exactly, right. So it's just about being wise.
And I guess it's not really just about the old adages of just, you know, saving. It's, you know, more about managing what your credit is going to be like, you know, out there in the public. So we covered some credit cards, we've covered cars, car loans, and different things like that. So it's pretty important to kind of manage that.
Yeah, those things are very important to getting a qualified loan by any bank or any mortgage.
And, you know, there's a lot of other things that, you know, come into play as well. Like, it's strange enough that most people, or a lot of people these days, when they go out on the road and looking for properties, they see a place they like, they call the realtor or a realtor to show them around. But you really got to make sure that you're actually qualified for the right amount as well. Because I've seen a lot of situations in, you know, recent months, especially with the mortgage rules changing. People, they want to go and put an offer in on a property, and they realize you can't put a financing clause in there because there's so much competition. But at the end of the day, they might not be qualified for that exact dollar amount, or they might not like the mortgage interest rate that they're going to get qualified for.
Yeah, and also you're also wasting each party's time too, right? When somebody desperately wants to sell their home, and you know, they're waiting for conditions, and then they find out that's not gonna work out, that definitely hurts, you know.
So what you're basically saying is, you know, it's detrimental to the buyer, it's detrimental to the seller. So it's good to make sure and verify those items with your banker.
Exactly. You know, especially as agents, we're on both sides of the table. One minute we're representing the client,
the buyer, and then the seller.
And then sometimes you're representing the seller, right? So it's just about making wise decisions back to what I was saying, right?
Right. Yeah. Do you recommend that in this mortgage application that it's, you know, better to talk to a broker, better to talk to a banker? I know everyone has a different opinion on that.
I personally I'm more comfortable letting my clients talk to a mortgage broker per se. Just because I feel like with a mortgage broker, they'll give them the walkthrough, right?
It's not as and you know one thing I will mention to your point there that it's always not as clear cut and dry with a mortgage broker. Sometimes with the bank it's a little bit you enter the numbers in and then you spit some numbers out. I guess a mortgage broker they can they walk you through the whole process and
it's nothing against the bank, right? It's just
I worked at the bank for 8 years.
Exactly. It's just building that personal relationship with the client too, right? You know, a lot of times your clients love your mortgage brokers because of just how they dealt with them in that situation, right?
Right. Because when you really look at it too, these are as doesn't matter what job it is or how well educated or how much money the people are making these days, that this is a part of the educational system that is kind of left out when you're in high school and university. There's no courses that talk about how to get a house and how to get a mortgage and how to manage your credit is even one thing that's really important. So I guess I can really
goes back to what I was saying to you in high school, real estate for dummies, right?
So then you see you shouldn't be embarrassed for something like that. That's actually that's an important thing that a step you took towards. And it's taken you a few years and you've gotten here and you've come up quite well.
Hoping to succeed further in life, right? So
definitely. Okay, so a few more of the financial tidbits before we get into the next scenario. So a few things that we really want people to know what not to do. Missing payments on their credit cards. Now this is something with your regular Rogers phone bill. I've seen it all the time, and your credit card. You don't want to be missing these payments.
Not at all. You can't. You can't afford to do that.
Because what happens now is they actually keep a record of it if it's 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days overdue, and then it actually completely pulls your credit score down.
Another thing I would tell you to avoid co-signing. I know, us as people, we love our family members, right? I know, like, you want to help out mom, sister, brother,
even in-law, whoever it is,
cousins. Please, avoid the co-signing, right? Sometimes it may come back to haunt you, right?
And it's more times than not. It does, and you see that it's really tough with guys like your cell phone company or that they can actually register against your credit because you have co-signed for someone that just decided not to pay their bill. And we with the charges of carriers and these things these days, one or a mistake when you're on vacation, you could have a $500 bill that is not going to get paid, and that might ruin your chance of getting a property with you and your loved one.
Exactly, right? So we definitely gotta avoid the co-signing. You don't want to end up in a situation.
Any specific stories? It sounds like you.
Nothing specifically. But just hearing from other people's past experience with going through that, I definitely don't encourage that with my clients.
Well, the real issue too, also, it takes a long time to rebuild that specific, to rebuild your credit, right? So it's not something that can be done overnight. And when you say, oh, it's only a $500 bill, I'm going to go buy my home now. So what am I going to do? Well, I'll pay off the bill for that guy. It's not going to...
Not that easy.
It's not going to help. Even actually getting those things off of your credit bureaus. So,
it takes a while. It definitely takes a while, right? So...
All right, well, that's good stuff. So now we'll jump a little bit into some of the what not to do scenarios when you're actually thinking about when you already bought your home or you're already in a new property or renting, things that really, really are detrimental to your purchase. But what we'll do, I think maybe what we'll do is stick a pin in it right now and take a quick break, and we'll jump into that one in the next segment.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Real Estate. I'm your host, AMIT, and Jay's on a little bit of a hiatus, but we have Sheldon Douglas here, also from the Bridge team. So this episode in general, and we're really just talking about all the things that people have asked in as questions that have been reoccurring. So this one is a real one that's near and dear to my heart, and I know you as well. Yes. What not to do. So now, regarding things like with your realtor, or with your banker, or with your financial planner, or even what not to do when you're renting and you're about to make the next move to transition purchasing. So one thing, always being honest with your realtor. How do you feel about that?
I think that's probably the number one most important thing you can do with your realtor and even your mortgage broker, right? Because what happens is we end up finding out anyways if you try to hide anything, right? Mm-hmm. So always be honest and upfront with your realtor, right? It just saves the trouble down the road, and I think makes the whole transition more smoother, right?
It definitely though the entire thing will run a lot smoother if you're more forthright with that information. It's kind of like that old saying where they say tell your lawyer everything. It's also like tell your realtor everything, tell your mortgage broker everything, because the real thing is we're not the ones that are granting the either the mortgage or the deal to go through with the property. We just have to go on what the information that we have and we got to work it the best.
Yeah, and the thing is, we want to go to bat for you. We're here to serve you, protect you as our clients and also our customers, right? So if you're being dishonest to us, then you're definitely not helping our situation out at all, right?
Right.
So, if you want us to be able to vouch for you and to go to bat for you, just tell the truth.
Well, the thing is, Sheldon, one of the worst scenarios or situations is when you are going to bat for a client, and then all of a sudden, it turns out that they change their mind like 5 minutes later, and then you don't know why, because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And after you've gotten a deal done, and sometimes it's because finances or the deposit structure or something like that isn't really in place. And a lot of times out there, we as creative realtors, we can think about something to try and help you. So it's not something you want to be embarrassed about. It's just something you want to, you want to share, I guess.
Yeah, honestly. Another thing that in terms of things that I see that clients we could probably do better with is maybe following more lawful instructions. Meaning if your realtor is telling you not to go and do something because it may harm your deal,
yes,
I think it's the best way to just
you gotta listen. Yeah, you gotta listen. Yeah, because I guess in recent years, as the mortgage rules and everything's been getting a lot tighter, sometimes people, they kind of just listen to anyone that they may hear some information about how to make sure they get approved for different things. So sometimes you want to make sure and you're going on that straight path, right?
Yeah, and the key word that I said is lawful, right?
Yes.
So the lawful instructions that a realtor's giving to you is because they're trying to protect you once again, right? Just listen to them and let them take the lead, right?
Well, that's good. And another thing now on the same topic, we've got a couple things that on what not to do, because people are always asking about them. So now, when you're selling your property, we almost all situations the Bridge team has on their deals or on their contracts saying home must be in broom swept condition, clean and orderly conduct. Yes. now what happens a lot of times when maybe you didn't get the exact price you wanted for your property, and whichever real estate agent was selling it, a lot of times people just leave a ton of stuff in that home.
Yeah, honestly,
or even
it's
dirty.
Not fair. It's not fair to the buyer who's moving in, right, to have to deal with your mess that you created all these years, right? I think it's very important that you take care of your stuff and allow the new buyer, it could be maybe a first-time home buyer or somebody that's purchased before, feel comfortable in their new space, right?
Right.
So I definitely think that's important as well.
Yeah. And then, well, on that same note too, there's sometimes issues where you didn't really want to move out of the property and you were forced to at that time. I've seen issues where there's been dents, damage on the wall, or people have punched a hole through the drywall. So these are things that you really want to mitigate for the new person. Otherwise, you're just saying it's a whole bad experience in general.
Yeah, just pretty much don't do things to others that you wouldn't want done to yourself. Right?
I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's important. Now, okay, forward a little bit more to a couple other items. Now, when you're actually moving from a situation where you're renting to purchasing. There's a couple things that we've gotten some emails about recently, and they're a little bit tricky because with regards to the landlord and tenant board, it's usually very cut and dry. Where majority of things a lot of things actually I should say are in favor of the tenant. But one thing in specific about giving ample notice, I think it's something people don't really understand the entire idea around it, because if they're saying hey, I'm gonna buy this property and we're gonna close on January the 1st, or sorry, December 31st, for example, a lot of times in that contract of your rental agreement you have to give ample notice. And this may be required as 60 days or 45 days, but I've even seen situations where we've gone to the landlord and tenant board with a client to see if we could help them out, and in their contract it's clear, cut and dry that you need to give 60 days notice, and if not, you can be fined or charged for that amount.
And that's definitely what they're first going to look at, right? The contract, right? So whatever is withheld in the contract is what they're going to follow, right? So I would say if you're going from renting to buy, just make sure that you're being diligent enough to even just make sure that everything is being followed, right? And that you take the right steps to get to where you need to go, but in terms of like the 60-day notice, we gotta definitely step it up and take that seriously, right?
Well, I guess the thing is too, us as realtors, we really need to make sure and educate our clients, because they may have been renting for maybe 8 years or 10 years, and a lot of times it's not even an issue where you just have someone that owns the property that you're renting from. A lot of it is really the very strict rental buildings, like the condo buildings, not the apartment buildings that are rentals. Those are the ones that really have the strict guidelines on it. So, okay, we kind of wrapped up that little section here. Now we just want to really give everyone a little bit of a market update. Now, market update is definitely different week to week, but one thing that I've noticed in particular is we're probably down around 3.5 to 4% based on last year January's purchase of larger value homes. Properties in the 550, 650, 750, large 4-bedroom properties, which is pretty wild when you're considering the last 3-4 years everything's been constantly on the up. But when you take a look at condo properties, I've sold condos now in 1 year time, they've gone up by $100,000.
Yeah, that's crazy. You can definitely feel it. You can definitely feel it and see the traffic change, right?
Yeah, market stabilizing a little bit more.
I still think it's still a great time to buy or even to sell, right? It's always good to invest in real estate in any time, right? Everyone always asks the question, oh, when should I buy? When should I sell? There's never a wrong time to buy or sell.
Well, you know what? The one thing that really gets me is they're thinking, is it a good time to sell right now? Well, if you're going to sell, you're going to have to buy. Exactly. So it's all relative. Even if you're selling at a higher price and you're buying at a higher price, it's definitely relative.
Same thing,
and then for the people that are just making that move right now and just moving into the situation, it's a great time to look at purchasing right now, because we have a little bit of a taper off, but because of the beginning of the year. But as soon as we hit March, April, May, market's going to start picking back up, and that's really what's going to happen. So now's a nice time to get in while you can. But a lot of people you're hearing a lot of noise and news and different things on the every time you turn on the TV, right?
And it's crazy because the market consistently approaches itself this way every year, right?
Everyone should know.
Yeah, so you should know at this point, especially if you've already had the experience of being on the market, right? So
you know what, too, honestly, Sheldon, I feel like a lot of people were just scared with all the noise and news about mortgage rules changing and things are plummeting. One thing that's really crazy that I always see is you get people or the news quoting things saying that everything's plummeting. But when you think of that, the number one thing as a consumer, you're going to think, well, okay, well, that means the market is falling and prices are dropping. But really what's happening is the sales volume has been lower, significantly lower.
Prices haven't dropped that drastically. If you think about it, it's just the people that are consuming these properties, right?
It's less volume.
Less volume. So as I said, like there's never a wrong time to buy or even a wrong time to sell, right?
All right, well that's good stuff, man. Sheldon, I really want to thank you for coming out to
for having me,
for this specific episode. It was a fun one, and I really wanted your expertise on this particular show. So before I let our viewers go, I'll make sure and remind them that March 3rd, we are at 96 Rexdale Boulevard for The Forum. It's really an open forum kind of talk where you can kind of get real estate advice on investing and different things like that. And I know I'll be there, and I know you'll be there. So I just want to thank you viewers out there, and hope to see you on the next episode and at our forum. You take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.